Welcome, Zanzi. Welcome to Unzipped Podcast. My name is Nomaza, and I'm your host for today. With me today, I have a very special guest. He goes by the name of Mondli. Hi, Mondli. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Namaza. How are you?
Well, thanks. Mondli, today I want us to discuss modern day beauty standards.
Yeah.
What's your take on? Let's start with the hair. And this is not because I have an Afro fam, no. But yeah.
I think maybe first things first, we just have to kind of like break it down. Because for me, when it comes to modern day beauty, there's what we have, what we can call like Western beauty, and then we also have our own what I can say, it's African beauty, right? So of course, me personally, I'm well, okay, going back to the hair. The hair, it has to be natural. I'm thinking I'm a weave, a skis, but yeah.
Why do you have a problem with weaves? Is Gwenzain?
In my opinion, I would say no, they do make women beautiful, right? Like, I mean, they are adorable, but then to an extent, this is me. I mean, like, personally, I would prefer my woman with the natural hair over a weave for various reasons, like, I mean, you ever tried to use a bathroom after your lady was trying to put in a weave and take and then manje, like, it just kind of gets messy, right? And I feel like, not that like with natural hair it doesn't happen, but I feel like it doesn't get extreme as a weave, sometimes you have to iron it, you need to wash it. Yo, yeah, no, it's a lot. It's a lot. What about you? What's your take
On the hair, firstly, I wouldn't say I'm against weaves, right? I think it is up to any woman to style their hair any way they want to style their hair. However, I myself also prefer natural hair for various reasons. Honestly, I don't think I want to bear the cost of buying weaves. Therefore, I'd rather stick to my natural hair. And as a woman also, like, I think as much as our hair, like my natural hair, it also needs to be taken care of, and then it needs to be styled proper as well. For weaves, I think damn man, weaves are a lot of work. I'll speak for myself. When I'm putting on a weave, I must make sure that, okay, at least that day it's not as hot, because it's gonna be dripping, and I'm not about that life. And also, really, I don't feel like myself when I have a weave on. Hence, I think recently, it has never even crossed my mind to buy it. I don't have a wig collection anymore. Cause yeah, man, it just has to do with your self-esteem as well. For me, when I would put on a weave, I would think that, okay, it boosts my confidence a bit, my self-esteem, but in the long run, I feel kind of like ashamed in a way, because I'm like, okay, everyone knows this is not my hair. Why do I have to, like, all of a sudden now I have a little attitude? Because I'm wearing this other person's hair or whatever, a Brazilian woman's hair or an Indian woman's hair, that kind of like also, it took time. At first, it was something I wanted to have, but it took time for me to gradually, be against, I'm not against per se, but like be a non-weave kind of woman.
From everything that you've just said, for me the key point was when you said you didn't feel like yourself. See, now that kind of also like takes me back to the young girls, young black girls, whether ukundikati or on afro or on dreadlocks. But then I feel like there's so much more confidence and so much more empowerment in who you are, who you truly are, right? I'm not saying we'd say, of course, with waves you wouldn't feel like that, but I mean, you would feel like that, but it's more like an artificial thing because it's trendy, it's Western, right? So, like I mean, as a person who watches TV, I see like these days there's like this trend, Emma blonde, like people all of a sudden are into like blonde and stuff like that. And honestly, in my opinion, trends will always change. They'll always be there. And at some point, I doubt we are going to be able to keep up. So I feel like a person should do what they feel comfortable with. But yeah.
But like, do you think with girls with weaves, do you think they get more attention than girls with afro? Or do you think they are deemed more beautiful than natural girls?
I don't think from a guy's perspective we view it like that, because I think when we are speaking from a guy's perspective, then screen saver has to come in place. You know, how you look, are you beautiful or right? But then I'm thinking from a girl's perspective, probably if you have weave 5,000, come on, you're poppy, you are the ish, right? So I think it differs. Girls would definitely look up to your Cardi B's and whatever, because they always have the most expensive hair, the new hair. What's relevant? I mean, come on. But then for guys, I don't think guys really care about hair. I doubt. Genuinely, I doubt.
I'm glad you mentioned Cardi B, right? Do you think weaves are more popular through celebrity culture or the pop culture, or do you think it's
I definitely think the waves are popular because of the pop culture and everything that we see on TV, on media, right? Because it's like, I think it has come about with the connotation of being an independent woman, a woman who can afford themselves, right? And then hence we see these young girls falling into a trap of having a blazer so that they can buy them those hair and so that they can fit into those standards. But then now question goes back to say, indlela ethole ngayo, is it a legit way, or did you have to lose a part of yourself in order for you to fit in? So yeah, unfortunately, the things that we see on TV psychologically, they have an impact, whether we want to be conscious about it or subconscious about it. Whatever that we see, it's either going to build you or destroy you.
I'm actually wondering why, out of all the hairs, this fake hair would be popular, and why we hardly see on mainstream media girls with their whole natural hair, you know. And for me, how I view it, really, it's all about the it's a selling point of view, you know. And it's quite sad that the whiter you look, the more appealing you are deemed to be. And yeah, what's your take on that?
I am Vumulana now. I totally agree. It's like the darker you are, you have to, like, people have to shame you for, you know, being like your melanin and sort of like, I'm not that deemed out there. I feel like, yeah, I mean, there are a couple of Lupitas out there that, you know, we appreciate Nakona after so long, because I feel like probably Naikareke Maisakala, she was probably bashed about her looks, how she looks, and all of those things, you know. This idea that, you know, the darker you are, you probably look like a monkey, or, you know, which goes back to black people, I mean, being degraded. And then again, as if that is not enough, again we still see the stigma between black people themselves. We would see the lighter you are, the better you are from your darker brothers or your sisters, which really does not make sense, right? Hence, I think one of our revolutionary leaders, was it Steve Biko? I think he once spoke something about black consciousness, just loving yourself to the core, and not allowing anyone to detect what beauty is for you, because generally, I mean, we are all beautiful, and I think again, where you're coming from also plays a huge part. Because imagine if you're coming from a household whereby movies or it kinda also kills your self-esteem. Yeah.
So that also goes to my other point about skin bleaching. What's your view on skin bleaching? The lighter you look, do you look better when you're lighter? Or like that whole concept, like I think it stems from from some of the examples that you just mentioned. Firstly, like growing up in a household where you're the only person who's dark, and you get those nicknames, and so yeah, what's your take on skin bleaching? And yeah,
I think firstly, I don't think it's healthy to do that. I don't know. I could be wrong. I didn't do my research on it, but in my opinion, I don't think it's healthy to do that. I think you probably kill some skin cells or whatever, but I wouldn't. I don't want to say I'm against it. At the same time, I don't want to say I condone it, because I understand that people are allowed to do whatever that they want, right? But for me personally, I wouldn't do it, because I think I have accepted myself the way I am, and I don't think there is no weapon formed against me, whether it's from media or whatever. I'm just going to stick to myself. I mean, I don't think there's a problem with trying to make adjustment with how you look, right? But just consider your health at least. I understand, some people are doing the BBLs, your Brazilian butt lifts, and apparently it's dangerous. I mean, we see, I've seen some scary things on the internet, right? Whereby these surgeries have gone wrong, whereby those things have gone wrong, and hey, you end up it just becomes a mess. It becomes a mess. Like this other video that I saw, I think this girl was like a stripper or whatever, yeah, but it was more of a club situation. And this girl comes, and I'm like, hey, everything that was supposed to be on the butt is now on the hips. And I'm like, no, this is so wrong on so many levels. So, yeah, I know, yeah, the trends.
but some women get to that extent because they want to get attention, and it's a trend, and yeah, these BBLs, I see them on Instagram, and most recently I did see a girl who honestly spoke about it, that this is a surgery at the end of the day, and you go under the knife wanting to fix whatever you think is broken, but when you're coming out of that whole surgery and that whole situation, you start regretting yourself, because now this thing is painful. They put stuff on your they inject dangerous things as well, and some girls have come out and said, you know what, guys, it's not as nice as you think it is, as a person who's done it, because the outcomes of everything, because first of all, that thing is expensive. BBLs are expensive, and I don't know much about maintaining it. So maybe the ones that you've seen, it's people who kind of maintain it, who kind of like went and got
The
it.
ones who are like cheaper doctors or whatever.
You know, yeah. So for me, I'm just like, you know what? If God didn't make it, it's not for me. So,
But then again, my question to you is: do you genuinely believe that women or ladies who do this, they do it for men?
well, I wouldn't speak for everyone,
Yeah.
but some, it has to do with sexual, sexual appearance, you know, and some have gotten it because they are doing sexual work, which is understandable. And then for just a normal girl who got it, I wouldn't say it's just about to get men's attention. Some of them, you know, they're ashamed of their bodies, therefore they want to enhance whatever they can, whatever it is that needs enhancement, and that might even include getting a BBL.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I genuinely I get what you're saying, but then I feel like again, it's very important to. I know that we do have, our role models, celebrity role models, your Kim Kardashians, your SZA, and whoever, and sometimes we genuinely feel like everything that they do is right, right? And what I just want to emphasize on, I think it's important for people to be their own gatekeepers, right? It's like, as much as I can read the Bible, right? At the end of the day, I decide what information do I want to take. I'm not going to take all of it, but there are things that are relevant in it for me. So at the end of the day, I'm a gatekeeper to my own life, meaning that whatever that I see, whatever that I hear, I can filter the information. I don't have to take everything that Kim Kardashian do. Maybe I can take the entrepreneurial route and then leave the rest, you know. What's BBL, and you know, it honestly isn't it, because sometimes it's scary. I think there was an interview about hers that was trending not so long ago, whereby she said that, you know, I don't know, she ate, she didn't eat for such a long time just to maintain a figure. I'm like,
Imagine,
come on.
imagine. So you're starving yourself just to call yourself beautiful afterwards. For me, I just think that, you know, celebrities are not the standard of beauty that girls are measuring themselves against. First of all, those people have their own monies, and they might be getting all these artificial things for beauty campaigns and other work that they do as celebrities. And you get a normal girl who just aspires to be like Kim Kardashian, it's a bit tricky, because I mean, you are just a regular person. You're not even a millionaire or even close there, but you want to live a lifestyle of a millionaire, of a celebrity, whereas, you know, you don't have the resources to. So I think that's where the problem is. And yeah, man, I mean, celebrities themselves, you know, Kim, as you've just mentioned, Kim is no longer a big battered girl like she was before. She's kind of like gotten slimmer, and I think she could afford to take those things off her body. Now get someone who's just normal, who went to get a cheap surgery, you know, you're stuck with it, and then you're gonna have to deal with the consequences.
I think another aspect that we have to touch on while we're talking about this, I think I would like us to talk about gender expectations. You know, like the expectations that guys have, like what a woman should look like honestly, what attracts a woman to a man, right? Mm-hmm. And I think, okay, fine, I don't want to be like go deep into details about it, because there's a whole lot of different things that guys may be or may find attractive about a woman, right? You know, for some it might be something to do with your mentality, which is your ability to how intellectual you are, right? but then again, again you want to go to the body. When some people are into idudla, some people are into lenda, some people like it, people that are in between. But then again, those are like natural people, like those are real people. They were born like that, or that's who they are. They didn't have to inject something or drink something or whatever, right? But then,
Yeah, I think maybe we have this problem of having all these artificial beauty standards famous. I think it starts with the music. I think mainstream music, especially hip hop, it has enabled women to look like this because of the lyrics that they put in these songs, And the music videos, you hardly see a normal girl on these music videos. It's always ass everywhere and. So I think also mainstream media has a role to play, and it hasn't been doing justice to natural beauty and natural women in all aspects for me. Yeah.
opinion, what message would you like to hear for young girls that are natural and that are having a hard time accepting their bodies the way they are? Like, what would you say to them?
For me, I'm like, there's nothing wrong with the way you were born. God created you from his image. And also, you were born that way. There's nothing wrong with you until you hear society pinpointing certain things. And for me, I'm like, it doesn't necessarily mean that those things that whatever your insecurities will be around, but it doesn't necessarily mean that those things are true, And there's nothing wrong with being who you are, And the more you try to be something else, the more you're going to feel miserable at the end of the day, because you're not tapping to your highest potential. You are just mimicking what you see, and what you see might not be a true representation of what everything should be like. So, yeah, man, I think young girls should embrace who they are, their natural beauty. And just because it's popular doesn't mean it's for you, And I think that's what's happening right now, is that these popular beauty standards, like young girls are being bombarded by these messages everywhere on their social media platforms. You go on Instagram, you see this certain type of women. You go anywhere on social media, like they kind of like popular, which I understand it might make some girls feel insecure that they don't see representations of themselves in these platforms. Therefore, that should mean that they're not normal, which is, it's false, Yeah.
Yeah, and again, what do you feel? Okay, do you think men or males, they have a role in this definition of the modern day beauty, and how can men also try to help in not in inspiring or empowering women the way that they are?
That's tricky because that's about men. So maybe I can ask that question to you as a man. What do you think? Because I mean, in most cases, like when you see your so-called slay queens, right? They with men that have money. Therefore, men spend on them to maintain this standard of beauty, right? Why do you think men enjoy that type of a woman who is weavy and?
Okay, now that we're talking about the slay queens and why men would spend on those type of women, I think those men are just crazy. No, but because think about it. I think as a man, you would want your woman to be more of an asset than a liability, right? So why would you go for a liability over? Okay, let's scratch the fact that you have money, you can afford, and all of those things. But really, logically, it doesn't really make sense. But at the same time, I understand that certain guys like to brag. I feel like some guys are with women not because they genuinely love or care for them, but because they just want to use them, like the trophy girlfriends. We go to clubs together. We have nice photo shoots and all of those things. But genuinely, that's another thing. My trends, because there's no future in that relationship. Because once that guy realizes, would say this person cannot be there for me emotionally. Maybe they can only be there physically during an intimacy, and that's just it. Other than that, they have nothing to offer. So it's just pure madness.
But it's weird when you say they have nothing to offer when because what I've seen, like, men tend to go for women who have weaves on, or tend to be attracted to women who have all these artificial beauty standards. Is there a status symbol that comes with it?
Of course. On the streets, probably much easier. Like, hey, it's woo, But then we all know, Uti, it's just lust. It's all nothing. It's for sure. At the end of the day, when you're alone, reminiscing, just thinking about yourself, you know that this thing it's just a temporary thing. You cannot see that thing as a permanent status in your life as a man. Genuinely.
So you're saying men with women that have that love weaves or have weaves, they in it just for the fame of it?
Not weaves, don't get me wrong, I'm talking about slay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just saying, in this topic of slay queens, yeah.
As far as slay queens go, it's just in the heat of the moment. But with weaves, I do understand that there are women, maybe they have cancer, their hair cannot grow, and they use that to boost their self-esteem. It can be used for health purposes and all of those things, which is cool. It's cool if your lady mhlawumbe yabo une-cancer and then kundichiscope, but then every time akaenda wena ufuna ukufaka i-weave. I understand because maybe she grew up with hair, so now this chiscope thing maybe is hindering her from going out, and I don't have a problem or an issue with weaves per se, but in my opinion, my preferred, I prefer natural everything.
Just to wrap it up, I think women, especially young girls, I feel like they should be free to be themselves and not be obligated to act a certain way, or have certain beauty standards, your weaves, your BBLs. I feel like that's too much pressure.
I agree with you. I think be your own kind of beauty, define beauty by yourself. Don't go with the trends, otherwise you're gonna you're gonna be lost in the sauce somehow.
Cool. Thank you so much, Mondli, for joining us today. For our audience,
Shout out to you for the invitation, and I hope to see you guys again soon.
cool. Where can our audience find you?
Instagram, it's Mondli with a double I, zebra, and Facebook, it's Mondli Dube. Instagram, again, it's Mondli Zebra. That is me. Shout out. Peace.
You heard it for yourselves, guys. It's Mondli Dube. Go follow. See him on his social networks. And that's it from me and Unzipped Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time. Bye.